Hey guys, Guy at Unleash Potential in Halifax, and this is a little video about phasing off of food in training because you don't want to be a food dispenser for the rest of your life. So there's kind of ways to go about properly. If you just stop giving your dog food, you're typically going to get a dog that becomes disobedient really quickly. There's nothing in it for me, why should I do this, right? So typically what you have to do is go about it the right way. Okay, so there's a thing called reinforcement schedules, and I essentially use two, and that's what I explain to my clients. So there's a constant reinforcement schedule, which is basically every time the dog does the behavior properly, you would reward every single time. That's constant. So if you're doing something, whatever it is you're teaching your dog or doing, or it could be a multitude of things that you're going through some sort of obedience class and you're teaching, sits, downs, all that kind of stuff, you'd probably wait till that's sort of over to sort of officially do it, rather than maybe in each individual behavior. At least that's the way I go about it. So, to give you an idea, I think it's pretty obvious, but rewarding every time. So, Ollie, come. Right. Okay, so I'm using my markers here, however you mark behaviors. Okay, sit. Good. Good. Great. Okay, so I'm rewarding every single time that the dog does something. Touch. Great. Okay, so there's a reward in it every single time. Then I would move to what's called a variable schedule. Okay, so once I have a dog that is pretty much 100% or darn close to it, doing the behaviors, then I would consider doing it, okay? Or this also works when you're changing a behavior. So if you're doing behavior modification, it's really the same rules if you're using reward to accomplish that. But I'll base this more on obedience, so it'll be a little bit more obvious. So I would just move that to other things. So my variance is, just to use an example, maybe 9 times out of 10 I'll reward. So I'll start skipping one here and there. And then I'll gradually, as the dog lets me, reduce that number down to where I get it, pretty much nil. However, in my case, if this is just me, is I will always have food on me and I will randomly reward the dog for doing, real special things, or just every once in a while to keep them sort of interested and keep sort of that drive up to do it. Of course, you can substitute affection, and if the dog enjoys that, if they see it as rewarding, you can transition to toy. More on that in a minute. Okay? So you just start to do variable things, and an easy way to do that is to drill the dog and get them to do multiple things and not reward every single one until you can get that declined. And if the dog starts screwing up a lot or losing interest, then go back to a reinforcement schedule that was working inside the variable one, and do some more of that before reducing again. Over time, and every dog is different, you can get down to not rewarding a whole lot. Okay? So, for instance, Ollie, sit. Good. Down. Good. Place. Good. Great. Okay, so I got him to do multiple things, right? So even with it's usually easier if you transition between commands than try to do it with one single command over and over and over again. Touch. Good. Nope. Nope. Off. Good. You did place on touch, buddy. Touch. Good. Great. Okay, so I'm doing that every time. Place. Good. Great. Good. So a little bit more consistency there. Sit. Good. Place. Good. Come. Down. Down. Great. Okay. So I kind of skipped a few there to sort of show you a quick sort of progression, but I would have rewarded more in that sort of sequence, meaning I probably maybe wouldn't have rewarded on place, but I would have done so for the come, the sit, the down sort of thing. So just take your time. I'm just showing you a little bit of progression. We're doing 2 or 3 things in a row before I'm actually rewarding him, but I would do it a little slower pace than that, meaning more rewards for each thing and gradually taking them away. And with that said, another way to sort of phase out food is transition to toy. So if you have a dog that's very toy motivated, that can be an actual easier way to do it. You quickly can typically get to a variable and phase out food pretty much almost completely if your dog is toy motivated enough. Now as far as toy, that can be fetch. So if your dog does fetch and is trained to do fetch, we'll actually go out and get the thing, bring it back and give it back to you, is required to be able to do that. Tug or ball and a string, same rules apply. The dog's got to want to take the ball on release or the tug. They have a solid out command to give it back to you, and they will bring it back to you. So that's the big, those rules need to be in play because it's going to be really hard to do any kind of repetition with that if the dog doesn't do it, okay? So it's also a great way to start introducing a dog doing obedience coming out of an excited state of mind, called capping is really what it's called. But just to give you an idea, so with Ollie, and you might see a reaction here, as soon as the toy comes out like a tug, I mean, big eyes, this has a lot more value for him than food, okay? But same sort of thing, right? I can use this as the reward on release for doing a command instead of food, right? Sit. Ollie, sit. Good. Right. Okay, so he doesn't want it, I'll tug with him. Good boy. Out. Sit. Good. Right. So after every repetition that I ask him to do obedience, out. Good. Down. Down. Good. Right. Okay, so every repetition I'm going to give him the reward that I could easily do like you saw me do with food. Out. Sit. Good. Touch. Touch. Good. Place. Good. Break. Right? So I would randomly do that and make him do a bunch more things before he actually gets his reward. Out. Good. Heel. Good. Break. Right? So you would just take it from there and transition to a toy. Obviously I'm not using food at all. Okay? So that can be his thing. As you can see with his engagement, it's a little higher drive with a toy. Hope that helps.